Bombad, Bombad.
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
Happy Valentine's Day, Bombad fam. What is up, y'all? We are here, and we are going to be discussing everyone's Valentine and everyone's favorite droid, let's be honest here, R2-D2. But before we get into this humongous discussion about our favorite little trash can, I got to bring in my co-host, and that is, yes, the member of the one and only club. Another member. There's so many members, but this member is a members only member of the one and only club, and that is Jerry the Cannon Junkie Cable. My host, what is going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, Scotty? Yes, I am one of the many members of the one and only club, but I am a founding member of the one and only club. Oof. So it makes sense. It's okay. It's cool. So
seniority, if you will.
Yeah,
in the Bombadcast fam.
Senior variety, yeah.
Senior.
Okay.
Well, speaking of, these things dealing with the one and only club, we kind of have to. If you're a member of the one and only club, you get to talk about how you've been lately, and hopefully more of you will become part of the one and only club in the near future. But Jerry, how have you been lately?
Yes, we want to have each and every single one of you guys listening on the show eventually. So
yes,
get ready.
One of you.
Get ready.
Everyone, even the people that hate us because of our reaction videos, have you on.
Oh, we definitely want to have them on. How am I, Scotty? I'm doing great, man. It's the day of love today. It's Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, maybe, if you will.
Yeah.
It is a day to proclaim love for autonomous robotic trash receptacle robots that have like hearts of gold and nerves of steel. And here we are today celebrating the one, the only, I would say that this is an honorary member of the one and only club, Mr. R2-D2. R2, how you doing? Glad to have you with us, buddy.
Wee.
Hello, it's okay, mate. Dude, you were in the movie. I know it's like this is like almost live kind of feeling, but like he's used to takes. He's used to being on a film set.
Yeah,
so
he's a little bit of a diva.
It's all right, little buddy. It's all right.
Wow!
Wow, man, that sounds a lot better when it's actually on film. So
yeah,
anyway,
it must be something in post that they do to really make it sound much better.
What's that? Oh, he said. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is actually Bill Hader that we have in the studio in Michigan. So sorry, Mr. Hader. Love you in Hot Rod.
Man.
Among other films. Yeah. Anyway. Well, hey, what's up, guys? Here we are again. We're talking about everyone's favorite trash can, R2-D2. So let's do. But Scotty, how have you been this last week?
I've been pretty good. I've been really enjoying just everything dealing with Star Wars right now. A lot of interesting things came out of this week, but. One thing I will say about this week is Jerry had a tweet that blew up. I had a tweet that blew up. It's been a weird Star Wars-y kind of week. It's just like, and of course the normal thing, we did not post it on Bombadcast page, so it didn't get any of the credit. Our personal accounts did, I guess. So
yeah, if you're listening, internet people who like our stuff, you can come listen to us. I did that sad little thing where
I know.
I woke up like Sunday morning last week and was like, well, I'm going to be that guy. I have a podcast you should go check out. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, it's nothing like this TikTok that I shared from another person's page.
It's amazing. It's so strange as to why.
Oh, that was great.
When things catch on, unfortunately, my post as well was like something I saw, and then I did a kind of crop of it to make it look a little bit better. And I don't know, it's the same exact thing. Same exact kind of thing. Like, it originally was not mine. I just did a little bit of editing to make it better, and this tweet just blew up. And actually, the tweet's what kind of inspired the subject for this episode, too. So it's
funny how that works sometimes, right, Scotty?
Maybe. But no, I'm so sorry. Jerry and I realized something when we started recording this. We did not release the Palpatine confession episode on Valentine's Day. We could have really done that just a little bit different,
Yeah, it seems like a hashtag missed opportunity, but I don't know, man. I think we're gonna survive. We're gonna take the hit. We're gonna take the hit, and we're really gonna push. Today, guys, you need to go to our TeePublic, and for your one and only, the one and only member of your one and only club, get a romantic adults only T-shirt.
Yes.
We have over there our Coruscant Air Taxi Confessions with Sheev shirts. Go for that. That is an adult only design.
Yes.
So wink, wink. Eyebrows. Whatever you need to do. Yeah, kisses. Whatever.
Nice. Some Foley.
But yeah, you know what? Show your loved one. Probably a week after Valentine's Day, because by the time you're listening to this, it's going to be like a week after Valentine's Day.
Yes.
When it comes.
Yes.
And tell them, give them an IOU, maybe, print out a picture of our Coruscant Air Taxi Confession shirt.
Yes,
and tell
definitely.
Them it's in the mail. Your love, I'm sending my love. All my loving, I will send to you.
Ooh, this is good.
Yeah. This is the YouTube version of this is gonna have a field day with that because they sound just like the Beatles, circa 1960s. So, yeah.
But wait, you got to plug our last shirt. You just put a new graphic on there, which I'm in love with.
It was. We usually plug at the end of the show, but just because it's Valentine's Day, we're feeling saucy.
And it's pink.
We're feeling the love is in the air everywhere I turn around, look around. I don't know the words, so you can't get me down, YouTube.
Copyright.
I had to take a sip of coffee. Yes, we have a brand new design in the Bombadcast merch store on TeePublic, except no imitations. This shirt is our Save the Bonus Features T-shirt.
I just saw it.
It's there. It's very. I'm very subtle with the jokes tonight, but they're it's rapid fire, baby. Rapid fire.
They're just bursting out of my skin.
They're just. I can't Sometimes they just bubble forth in my sleep, and my wife has to smother me with a pillow. But. No. Okay, so we've got a brand new design. Go check it out. It is fantastic. I'm pretty proud of it. I love it.
I am too.
Was it? It was from our. It was from our.
Duel of Fates.
Trevorrow, I Love You, Trevorrow episode last week talking about the Duel of the Fates script. And Scotty kind of mentioned this, Save the Bonus Features, how it needs to be a T-shirt. And yes, it does, because we need more first world causes to get behind. And, we're nerds. We love bonus features.
Yes.
And why not? So go check that out. It's a fun design, kind of a retro 80s feel. It's in that retro 80s pink tux color, but you can get it in any socially acceptable color you would like.
Well, you know what? And this kind of is a good transition if you think about it, because saving the bonus features with streaming kind of killing bonus features. It's kind of an interesting thing. Not that they killed it, but whenever I would get a DVD as a kid, to get
sounds so accusing.
Well, no, to be able to go to the bonus feature section of the second or the first disc is so exciting. But now it's just the YouTube channel drops whatever the bonus feature is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that thrill is kind of not there anymore.
Although the Knives Out was released digitally last week. I don't know really when it's being released physical copy, but there are a ton of extras on
That's awesome.
the Knives Out home release. So go check that out. And we love you, Ryan. There you go.
Yes, maybe one day. And Ahmad Best has been.
Come on anytime you want, Ryan.
Speaking of Ryan Johnson, Ahmad Best has been
subverting our expectations.
Yes, he's been frequenting our Bombadcast page. So maybe there's something in the works there. I don't know. Maybe.
You know what? Anybody who's listening to this, I don't care who you are, even if you just found this the first time, tweet at Ahmad Best and tell him. Or ask him nicely, politely, Be like, hey, Ahmed, you need to go on the Bombadcast with Scotty and Jerry.
Yes.
It's just an awesome podcast, a fun time. I'm gonna I don't know, just you dote upon us as you will.
Yes.
Use your words. Don't take my template. But yeah. Tweet at Ahmed Best. Hashtag best or bust.
Yes.
On the Bombadcast.
I love
Hashtag Ahmed Best on Bombadcast. I forget what my hashtags were, but yeah, you guys go back and look at my tweet, guys.
Best Bombadcast ever. That was one of them.
Best Bombadcast ever. Yes. There you go. So tweet at Ahmed Best, and let's get him on the Bombadcast, guys.
I think it's definitely likely. It's just been so much fun to tweet at him, and we both got pins by that organization, Nerd Matters, and it's just been fun because
go check them out too. They said they're going to have more pins coming soon.
Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait.
And different designs and variations as well.
That's awesome.
I think on Jar Jar. So
yes.
They told us specifically that on the Bombadcast page. So yeah, check it out, guys. There's going to be some lovely Jar Jar Binks enamel pins in your life soon.
Definitely, but I guess enough about us. We need to get to the main hero, literally the hero of the saga. If I say so myself.
I need a hero. So I'm just gonna sing all of the songs today.
I'm gonna describe the tweet I put out, if that's okay. The tweet.
That's fine.
Okay, good. Just making sure. The tweet I put out that got a lot of reception. It got just about 700 likes. It is a tweet that said, "Y'all, how didn't I notice this? This is amazing." And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I did bring up how pivotal this first how awfully pitiful she died of sadness. No, how this picture, this first picture in this little collage right here, it's like a huge moment in Star Wars, but it's a combination of two photos. One photo is the top photo is of Artoo watching Leia and Luke be born, and then the bottom photo is attached to it as well in a collage form. It is Artoo watching Leia pass into the Force. And inevitably pass away in that sequence in The Rise of Skywalker. And it's so beautiful to think that Artoo was there for her birth and for her death. And there in between all of that time as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just it was something that kind of hit me. It really kind of gave me some Bombad build-up feels, And I was like, oh, wow, why didn't we pick this up that quickly? You know what I mean? It must have been... Obviously, it's been almost 6 weeks after the movie's released for me to kind of realize this moment. So it just really kind of hit me there, and I think it really would lead to a really good discussion on today's show. But anyway, Jerry, I have a Bombad fact. Can I read the Bombad fact real quick?
Hold on. Okay.
You okay?
It's too much emotion for me. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
I'm good. No, dude, that was an awesome tweet. And such a great thought. And this is just the beginning of the revelations that are to come over the years, dude, with Rise of Skywalker stuff. But what, sir, is your Bombad fact of the show?
Okay, this is the Bombad fact, which I think is incredibly interesting. I've heard this story before, but I got this from a website called thefactsite.com, and it was about R2D2 and C3PO. It was a whole article they put out. And this is I know this is a true story because I've heard it other places, but it took this article to kind of bring it back into my attention. And it is about R2D2, nonetheless. And it says here, I copied it directly from the article. It says, during the making of George Lucas's 1973 film American Graffiti, he was in a room working on the Star Wars script and dozed off, while a snoozing Senator Walter Murch called out for Reel 2 Dialogue Track 2 by the abbreviation of R2D2. Lucas awoke when he heard the request and asked Murch to repeat what he just said. After he heard it again, he stated it was a great name and went back to work on his script, which I think is just so cool. I mean, it is a cool name, cool. R2D2. It's just I love that it was, it was because of a reel and dialogue track reel that caused him to have this epiphany almost. This is a great name for a character,
Yeah, dude. It's so That's so. How Lucas is it that he was like taking a nap and like
Yes.
just kind of barely heard someone say R2D2
Yes.
was like, wait, what?
I love it.
That's a thing from my dreams. That's my dreams. They're
Right.
in real life now. Ah!
Very Kermit, but also pretty
Yeah,
George Lucas.
yeah, I did real Kermit at the end there.
But still, it's kind of a cool idea to think like, and I've read other places that R2D2 is George Lucas's favorite character, and that kind of makes sense too. It's like,
Yeah,
you got to think before Jar Jar, the only other slapstick kind of character was R2. You know, with like falling over, making silly noises, like all of his little canisters opening up in Return of the Jedi, just like things like that, which can be passed off as like, you know, kind of a comic relief sequence. R2 has always been really good at that, and 3PO as well, but R2 more so, of course. But yeah, no, I guess to kind of kick off this whole discussion, why R2? Why R2 is, why is he so important to us as a fan base? And Jerry, really, why is he? I don't know, why is R2 really important to you as a Star Wars fan?
It's kind of one of those things. Besides, like Darth Vader and. Really, the only iconography besides Darth Vader that you see and you know immediately that's from Star Wars, like that. There's that picture from A New Hope of R2 and 3PO in the desert.
Oh man,
and
that's it's in my hallway. I have the poster of that.
Yeah, it's iconic and stuff. And I mean the Ralph McQuarrie, drawing too. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but
I have that one too in my living room. That's
yeah.
But it's for some reason it's the aesthetic design of both those characters is still so appealing for some reason. Like I don't know. It's like you remember the Doug Chang panel at Celebration where he's like, we took just normal shapes and make them spaceships. We made them this. And I'm sure when George and Ralph were collaborating on R2, it was like, we'll just take this like a cylindrical and a dome shape. It's just two very simple shapes that like really work well. I don't know. And
it's perfect design. What's funny is I remember when I was younger thinking those robots look really old. Like old school and stuff. Like, oh, they look like, classic old like sci-fi robots, and but it's amazing how R2's design is old and at the same time timeless.
Yes, definitely.
Because I don't know, it's reminiscent. It's like the person who made Buck Rogers was looking at the galaxy a long time ago, and I'm making some weird thing now, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, the sci-fi people back then were, it's what their inspiration came from, even though Star Wars came from, it just feels so timeless.
It does.
I don't know, man. What about you, Scotty? What to you, what does R2 mean to you as a Star Wars fan?
Well, this is really kind of funny, but as a kid, I always thought R2-D2 was a little boy. Like, I always thought he was a little, like a child almost, Like his, you see what I'm saying? Like, he was very childlike. Totally. He was short, he was goofy, he was kind of spunky. I always thought he was like the kid.
A little chubby like me when I was a kid, too. So.
Yes, yeah, and metal. But, like, the idea of R2 almost being like the little kid of the group, especially in A New Hope, where he kind of just runs off. And you're like, you can, as a kid, you can kind of relate to that. You like being the goofy kid that like goes and hides from his friends and stuff. So I guess to me, I kind of looked at R2 as like, man, that's a lot of who I am, just kind of silly. And of course you watch the original 3 and he's very childlike. And then you even watch the prequel trilogy and he's still very childlike. And he only becomes pretty, I know it's more sophisticated as a character when it gets to the sequel trilogy. But I think, honestly, unfortunately, that's due to the lack of screen time that he does, unfortunately, have in the sequel trilogy. It's just, I'm just being honest. I love the sequel trilogy. They gave it to BB-8, which is super important, which I think is so important. But when you think about R2, and like you said, the iconography of this character cannot be understated. Like, if there wasn't a Vader-looking figure and you showed another person R2-D2, they would immediately understand that it's Star Wars. It is as iconic as the opening crawl. That character is just so important. And I think most little kids, like I'm sure, Eleanor has a connection with R2-D2 as well for being kind of a shorter character who's goofy. And it's just a little cute robot.
Yeah, it was like the first character. One of the first characters she really latched onto was R2D2.
I
And
bet.
honestly, BB-8 is really
Yeah.
BB-8 because I mean that's the same design concept when you think about it. It's
Yes.
real simple, very appealing to kids, man.
Yes.
You know, and like I mean, very appealing to everyone. But yeah, man, D2 is what she used to call R2D2.
That's awesome.
So yeah, dude, it's 100%. It's I don't know. There's it's beautiful and
Yes.
it's amazing that again I honestly I had heard that George got the name from the Reel 2 dialogue track too.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever have heard actually, Scott, that he was kind of napping.
Which is really cool.
At least I had forgotten.
Yeah.
And just adds it's a dreamlike quality and a magical quality
Yeah.
to this character who is more than stood the test of time.
Oh, he's
and,
transcended popular culture. I mean, he is.
yeah.
I mean, I'll when you see, and of course, all the droid builders say that. Which I would love to have a droid builder on. If there's any droid builders out there on this that listen to us, please get in touch with us. We would love to have you on.
Yeah, shout us out, man.
But like there was an interview with the droid builder group, and they're like, no matter the age, the look. If you're like this huge, scary, muscular biker dude, if you see R2D2, you immediately take a knee and go up to it and look at it and admire it. And I can tell you, when I first saw my first R2D2 at Celebration in 2017, I mean, I've got several photos with R2D2s and all kind of R2 and R3 units. It's just like an R5 units. It's just like, I don't know what it is, but it does just bring out this enormous childhood I guess affection for something as simple as that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
like,
and there's something amazing about when you're at a celebration. Again, you've last year was your second one.
Yes.
My first.
Yes.
And you do not know. I can't. I think I had seen maybe like I think we went to Disney World whenever I graduated high school one summer, and I think there could have been like an R2D2 kind of rolling around there. There was like a Star Wars Weekends thing going on.
probably.
But you don't know how you're going to react when you first see one of the droid builders full-sized R2D2s, like radio controlled, like
Noises.
just rolling across the floor.
All of it.
And it's like, it's right there.
Opening its little hatches, noises, and like literally,
Yes.
there's some that are so well made out there that will do the sequence in Return of the Jedi where everything opens up and things stick out of it. You know, like that's.
Yeah.
It's. I think that something about that, man, is beautiful, and like it shows that everyone had so much care for that original Star Wars to make, and you got to think. The most important character in the first Star Wars is R2-D2, regardless of what anyone says. Luke is definitely the main character, but I would almost say supporting characters are too, because of how important he is to the plot. He is the MacGuffin of the whole thing. I don't know. I love it. I love R2 for that reason, because every movie gives him a chance to shine at least a little bit, and we'll get into those details later. But the first Star Wars really relies on a robotic character with no mouth, and pretty much the only thing you have for its eye is a little glass screen. It's just like, I don't know how that movie
Who speaks
worked.
in beeps and boops, too.
I know.
And yet we think he has so much personality.
It is, exactly.
It's brilliant, yeah.
It's fascinating to think it worked. And I think that's when they were reading the scripts, you know, before Alan Ladd Jr. got and everyone else that denied Star Wars, I think probably, if I could give my interpretation of it, I think the hardest part for them to connect with was probably that character, because it sounds so ridiculous on page, I'd imagine. Like, really, it must be the stupidest thing in the world. But you got to think, with the beauty in the power of film, and, you know, Ben Burt and Kenny Baker and everyone with the puppeteering and the animatronics team back in the 70s to bring R2-D2 to life is just like, I couldn't imagine how much better the movie got once everything was done in post, just like the John Williams score being added in as well. So I think, I don't know. I know that was kind of a little bit of a rant, but like, people kind of just see it and just automatically appreciate it. But like, when you take a step back and think about how unbelievably difficult it was probably to bring that character to life, I couldn't imagine as a director or a writer even being able to get anywhere near that, you know?
Yeah. No, it's lightning in a bottle, which Star Wars has managed to capture like multiple upon multiple times.
Yeah.
That's what's insane is that they created so many iconic characters, but that one of them is this little rolling trash can.
Seriously.
That we all adore.
Yeah.
We all adore him.
We do. And do you have any childhood memories, Jerry, of like maybe like seeing Artoo or even being able to like interact with Artoo in any video games back when you were younger? Is there any memories that come to mind?
Well, the thing that comes to mind for me is, again, I'm a child of the 90s. I was born I was born 87, and so, missed like the last little bit of the 80s and
Yes.
just missed Return of the Jedi and all that, but during the 90s they came out with Power of the Force 2 figures, but right before that I think this might be what got me into Star Wars actually. Is those of you who are in your 30s, early to mid 30s and beyond, and Scotty, you too. I'm not even going to throw you out, but
No, what's up?
the Bendums action figures. They were actually called Bendums, and they had a bunch of different like movies and like TV shows and different things like that. It was like a popular type of figure back then. It was like just a bendable figure.
Is it like a Stretch Armstrong kind of? Or you can kind of
well, no, it was just like, wireframe inside and rubber.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
you could
yeah.
just bend them into any
Yes.
position. They're really
Yes.
silly. I actually, Eleanor has, I gave her I had a Darth Vader and a Chewbacca bend-em, and
Yes.
Eleanor has those currently. And I had, Scotty, an R2-D2.
Oh,
I think he was
really?
one of the first ones I ever had, and that was interesting in a bendem.
Yeah, no,
because
I bet.
It was essentially like just like a tube, so...
Well, no, I remember my grandpa had a Pink Panther Bendum too, with the eye, like the wire framing thing. I just realized what you meant by that. Yeah, I completely get it.
They were like all over the place in the early 90s, man. And so that was, I had that, a Stormtrooper, Chewbacca, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And I just was in love.
That's
from then on.
awesome, man, Jerry. I love that. It's one of those things whenever you like really kind of can take a chance to like kind of reflect on your childhood and just the little things you had like that. And I have a very relatable story, but it's more of a Lego piece. I don't remember which set, but a set that I had bought or I had been given early on had an R2-D2 droid in it, and I have it still displayed on a shelf. And I just never forget, like, in any adventure, I had this. This is so silly. This is so me. But as a kid, I had the little gray mat where you put all the Legos on, and I had a thing called Lego Studios or something like that. And, like, my character in the studio, of course, I was, like, 6 or 7 or 8, and he would always be paired with R2-D2. And I remember he would just, no matter what, he would be in the room with R2 would be in the room with him, and R2 would be, like, the one that runs his mail or whatever. So, like, it's like he ran a production studio. It's really silly.
Yeah.
But, like, that's one of those things.
That's fantastic.
Like, R2, and of course, obviously, with a cultural impact of R2, not just from the iconography of Star Wars, but, like, R2 is just in everything somehow. He's in, R2-D2's in Raiders of the Lost Ark. R2-D2's, they were literally just in a commercial for the Super Bowl, like R2-D2 and 3PO. It's like that and of course you can't forget to mention how important 3PO is as well with making R2 a convincing character. But yeah, my little childhood story kind of, I think R2 is just always there, and you never had to question him not being there as even a character, but also as just a good accessory for an adventure, And he's just
Absolutely.
It's just so iconic. But to kind of go back into the 3PO thing, if it weren't for 3PO, R2 wouldn't be near as convincing, number one. But R2 just having the ability to work, and in of course, if I'm not mistaken, R2 and 3PO both have their feet imprinted at Graham's Chinese Theater in China, in Hollywood. China.
All the way from China.
Yes, yes, all the way.
Perfect.
No, but they do have both their feet imprinted at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, which is just so, like, it's so reflective of, even in the 70s, because Star Wars really could have just had a good original movie and then a sequel that flopped, but it didn't. And I think that's often never said either. And I think R2 and 3PO have a lot to do with that. And especially when it comes to Empire Strikes Back, R2 is definitely a key player in that movie as well. But yeah, Jerry, do you have anything else you want to kind of add on to R2's impact on pop culture and just I guess how he's almost synonymous with anything Star Wars? And I think if I were to have an R2 droid just roll into my classroom one day, I think even the kids that have never seen Star Wars would instantly know his name and the noises he makes and just the character itself.
Oh, they would freak out, man.
Yeah,
All
and
of
freak
them
out.
would freak out. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But
it's perfect.
yeah, no. Anything else that can be stated, Jerry, on just R2D2 as a character and even his impact pretty much on our popular culture and our world as we know it?
Only that this Christmas he really tried to make me cry like several times. Him and C-3PO, so darn them both. My gosh, man.
Oh.
Like the C-3PO finally telling him he's the best friend, he's his best one he's ever had. Like,
dude, and that shot is so
right
unique.
In the feels, man.
Great point. No, I don't think we've ever discussed that. I know Eric and I have, but I want to make sure that I bring it up to you. That shot of 3PO and R2 is such a weird and not Star Warsy shot of it's just his head moving and you see R2 in the background but below him, I don't know if I ever told you this,
so
but
strange.
I would consider you my best friend or whatever he says to to R2. It's just so, I don't know, it's awesome. It is so awesome.
You've been like one of the best friends or one of my I don't know, I really, man, Come on. We need Rise of Skywalker in our eyeballs right now, dude.
Seriously.
But
we seriously do.
Yeah, man. It's, I don't know. What else can you say about R2-D2 except for just that he is the keeper of the Star Wars, dude? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I love R2-D2. So
Me too. And it's one of those things of course we've brought up, the people who brought him to life, and we have to bring up probably one of the most important people, which was the man that actually was in the true metal trash can, even in 120-degree heat, and that's Kenny Baker. And unfortunately, we lost Kenny Baker the same year we lost Carrie Fisher. And and we know Kenny Baker. I mean, he was nowhere near as famous as the wonderful Carrie Fisher, but he still meant a lot to this community. And I forget, he even worked on The Force Awakens. That's something that people haven't really mentioned. He was there for The Phantom Menace and all the prequels, but he was on set for The Force Awakens, and they had interviews with him as well. And I don't know, I don't know what it's like to be an actor, number one, but I don't know what it's like to have it. That's a difficult job, to be placed inside this little thing and told to make it have emotions and make it look emotive. And all the props to him. That must have been one of the most difficult things ever, honestly.
Yeah. Well, gosh, again, with the people we miss, we've, since the new movies have started coming out, I mean, we've lost Carrie, we've lost Kenny, we've lost Peter. And again, you see, like you're saying, he may not be one of the big stars that people who... Yeah. Casual people are really pining for, but just the fact that he did mean so much to the community. Every single one of these people, it doesn't matter what you do in a Star Wars movie. If you've been anywhere near a set or helped make these films happen, we love you so much.
So much.
But when you think of Kenny Baker, just crammed into that little trash can, man. In the desert in Tunisia, and it's mind blowing. And you just, I wish I could have gotten to shake the man's hand and thank him for what he's done. I don't know if I'm sure he felt loved and all that. I mean, I know he got to go to all the conventions and stuff, and we all love Artoo and Kenny and all the people, but it's just, I don't know. You hope that he knew how much he meant to people.
I agree.
Before he passed on, but it was really cool that he wasn't actually in the R2 unit on Force Awakens.
No.
Correct? It was
he was supervising. I think he might have done one shot. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure they would have gave him that one shot for him to do it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they did. That wouldn't be out of Star Wars place, because that would be just so, I don't know, it's just so fitting for each person's final role. Like, I know Peter Mayhew was definitely in the suit for like a couple of scenes in The Force Awakens that we don't know which scenes they were, but
I'm pretty sure the scene where like Rey is crying over Finn's body in the forest.
Yeah.
And like the Falcon, comes up over the cliff, and you kind of there's that shot from the outside that looks really cool and realistic of Chewie.
Yeah,
and I think that's him, because that just looks classic Peter.
Yeah, and possibly
I don't know.
I'd imagine maybe the introduction shot of them walking in. I would imagine that one was also probably them.
Yeah, because just like sitting and stuff like that. So, but I don't know, man. Like, it was just amazing that we had him for as long as we did and stuff. And I don't think, just seriously go back and watch all of the original trilogy, and go back and like watch, whatever he did in the Phantom Menace and the prequels and all that, because I know in the prequels they had CGI they could use and stuff too, and they did a little bit, but still there was a lot of character. Yeah, there's still a lot of character to these to R2-D2, and I mean, a lot of that character and all that came from Kenny Baker's the way he moved the dome and all that. So there's a lot more to it than just spinning.
Oh, totally. And like the speed of the spin. Also, one thing that they always acknowledge is like how he had such a great and strong, like, charismatic personality, and how it shined through that character. And just like, I don't know, just the idea behind that's so beautiful. But I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having to endure that much as a person in order for, to make this character work. And like, we know there was all like A New Hope was like plagued with all kinds of complications, with Anthony Daniels' suit just like popping off, and like, this random and just acts of mistakes, and just the fact that a lot of things didn't work. But I mean, even like there was like these awful shots, and I felt so bad because you almost laugh at it just because it's funny. But like, he's trying to go into a room, and all of a sudden the whole R2 unit just falls right over it, but someone's inside of it. You're like, oh, that must suck. Like, that must be awful. Yeah, seriously. But, I like that we get in the prequels, and I watched a special on it actually before we started recording, and it was just like a 5-minute, it was like one of those webisodes they did back in the Phantom Menace release, and it was like bringing R2 to life, and like the robotics it took to bring him to life in this new one, in the Phantom Menace, I guess the newest one for the time, and how like complicated it was to make something that rolled over sand really well, and like they had to do so much trial and error in order to make that work. It's just like they go above and beyond to make these movies convincing, and I think most people don't appreciate that part, as much as they should. Like, honestly,
it's a ton of work for the majority of people to watch and go, that was cool.
Yes.
And then move on.
Yes.
But it's just, you've got to admire the passion that they have to try to make it as realistic as possible, even though the majority of people aren't going to be sitting for an hour like every week talking about it like us. You know? It's amazing, and so thankful they do it because it's just great.
Well, this is kind of what I want to kind of get into in regards to the storytelling of Star Wars, and you got to think about this. In regards to R2-D2, we were so lucky to get a character from beginning to end, and he has a beginning in the Phantom Menace, and he has a pretty good end by the finale that is The Rise of Skywalker, and the things he gets to witness as a character and the things that we kind of get to experience through his eyes as well is pretty significant. And like I even said with the Bombad build-up, that R2-D2 is our storyteller, and maybe we'll get that true confirmation one day, but George has always said that, he's the one, he is logging the journal of the wills, he is taking in the Star Wars story, and he's going to tell it one day. And I don't know.
Dude, I thought that's how it was going to end.
Me
man.
too.
I thought
I was
that's
convinced.
how Rise of Skywalker was. Yeah, we were talking about it. I think on here, and just that last shot, we were finally going to see what the wills looked like and whether they were actually microscopic or whatever. And gosh, I don't know. We were robbed. No.
But you know what's funny?
It can still be true. Yeah,
it can be brought up, but we did bring up pretty much in every Bombad build-up how if a droid happened to be there at a pivotal moment, it was interesting. You know, it was a very interesting moment to kind of look back and reflect on, and we'll get into some of those later in this episode. But like, BB-8 was there when Rey did bury the lightsaber, so he might be the next. Torch has passed. BB-8 could be the next. Storyteller. He might be continuing R2's story. He might have R2's memory banks also in him. There's so much that can be said about these characters because R2-D2, which is this is the best thing you can say about him. He is eternal. I don't think they will ever really get rid of him. There's no way.
No. He's going to be there thousands of years after, like, Rey and all of them are dead and stuff in the story.
And even in real life. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, this character is going to stand the test of time for everything, but that's the beauty of having these. I don't know, the beauty of the Star Wars universe is it's got all of this. There's all of this technology that is ancient and new and can just keep going on. But you've got these characters who are not like living beings. They're living in a different way, but they're just these. I don't know, man. R2 is he's there for everything.
Yes.
I mean, even in Rise of Skywalker. He's there.
Yes.
He was there at the Battle of Exegol.
Yes.
And, I mean, he's there.
Awesome.
He's there leaving Naboo with Padme and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Jar Jar. And he's there at the end of the Star Wars.
Yes, yeah.
In Poe Dameron's X-Wing.
Yes.
Like, he was with Poe that whole time. And just... insane.
It's amazing.
Insane what he's been around for, man.
Well, to kind of touch base on like pretty much each sequence in the movie that really R2 kind of shines. I want to start with the Phantom Menace, but I think his introduction, of course, with the saving the day moment is just so R2-D2.
Yeah, man. And the hello boyos.
Hello boyos.
We gotta get our namesake. Like Jar Jar going down there. He's the only one who I guess talks to the droids.
Yeah, he kicked it off, man.
In that movie.
He kicked off R2-D2's little story, and it was such a cool way to shoot it because they are all getting this little thing that's launched him up, and then they focus on R2-D2, and he says something, and then he launches up. And I think immediately you're kind of like, wait, that's got to be R2-D2. And then, of course, he gets on the side of the ship, and it's just such an amazing moment. I don't know, and everyone's getting cleared off but him, and it's just... I don't know what's something about it. The music's amazing. Dun, 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 dun,
oh, dude, I love that.
Dun, dun, dun. It's so good.
I love that.
It gives me chills.
That's that delicious Phantom Menace score I was talking about a week or so ago. When I said told everyone to give their most underrated John Williams score. Phantom Menace has got to be that for me. Like Phantom Menace's music is, I think, criminally underrated. It is so good, but. No, man, that whole sequence of the droids getting viciously picked off. It's a cool sequence. But it is so
makes me want to watch Phantom Menace.
That's horrifying for the droid. You got to think like those droids are like, "Oh my gosh, my buddy R2's like, my buddies are dying."
Yeah,
like that. See, had that never happened, like R2 would have probably lived, on that Naboo cruiser for the whole time, and where would we be today? But no, thank goodness all those guys got picked off. R2's family was killed.
He was the hero.
I'm getting very dark with this.
No.
Well, it is owned by Disney now, so.
Yes. But one thing I want to say, too, about that sequence in particular, the fact that they get to read his name out to Padme and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan in the room, too, is just like, I don't know, that name just means so much for the overall story. And, you can always bring up how important the Force is, but damn, if they aren't near as important as well, let's be honest. You know,
Dude, for real. Yeah, the way I love that sequence too is like R2D2, Your Highness. And then somewhere in the back, George Lucas in a pilot's outfit like wakes up from a nap and goes, whoa, say that again. Say that again. What did you say? What was that? What was that name? That name you just said. Who is that? Who?
I'm loving it. No,
Right.
yeah, no, I think the
This is a
Phantom
great
Menace really does
saga.
give him a chance to shine, and you know, we'll get into our favorite moments later. These are just some highlights in general that we think were really important for the character. And you know what? I'll be damned. I don't care what any of y'all think. Them rockets were so cool in Attack of the Clones. So cool. I loved it. But I was, of course, in like second or third grade. What about you? What'd you think, old 29-year-old Jerry in 2002? Number one.
Wrong. Number one, wrong. I think I was like just going into like middle school or something like that.
Yeah.
But Scotty, are you kidding me? I like the special editions. I have a Zhao Yaoza action figure. I have that. If you don't know, if you're not crazy like me, then you probably don't know that Zhao Yaoza is the Yuzum, the big fuzzy character with a big mouth and 3 uvulas in the back of his throat, who like goes and gives the camera like a throat shot in the middle of the Return of the Jedi Jedi rocks sequence that everyone hates. Everyone hates Zhao Yaoza. Zhao Yaoza's my boy. So what do you think? What do you think I thought about the rocket, Scotty?
I mean, I thought it was sick, and you know what? It can always be.
Dude,
written
I loved
off
it.
as
Sorry, that's what I was trying to say.
No, it can always easily be written off as it's, you know, he lost that ability to do that later, or he couldn't, or it wasn't irreplaceable. Or
I think in those novels that came out, those like junior novels that were like retellings of the original trilogy stories. Which the A New Hope one is amazing, and the Return of the Jedi one is great too. The Empire Strikes Back one's a little strange, but there are some great R2 units moments.
Yeah,
great R2 units, but also moments in those. I think it even mentions how his rocket boosters have been rusted into disrepair. Throughout the years, so
that's awesome.
I guess Bail Organa never really saw the need in R2 needing some rocket legs like Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker did. I mean, like I just watched the Clone Wars episode the other day where he rides R2D2 out of that big hole on Malastare away from the Zillo Beast, which is not my favorite episodes of the Clone Wars.
No.
I don't know if I dig the Godzilla vibe, but I always found that funny that he like basically rides R2D2 out like his white steed, like a white trash can shaped steed.
Yeah. No, I do like the rocket boosters. I think they're pretty cool, and I think it was a really good plot device for that sequence to like.
It was a great reveal. Too.
It was to like.
Where it's like they go out there and say, "Well, what's he gonna do now?
Yeah,
he can't go anywhere."
Oh yeah, but it's just. This, you know, and also R2 in Attack of the Clones, I mean, he also was in the Naboo Starfighter with Padme, too, which is really kind of cool as well, because, you know, was it Corday? Corday was on the,
Corday was on the ship, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, it's...
Poor Corday got...
It's just cool to think R2 flew with Padme as well, you know, like, independently with Padme. With Luke later, just and like...
For those 10 years, he was with Padme.
Yes, he was.
And even Queen Shadow, the novel Queen Shadow, like it talks about R2D2, like, and I don't think they like mention him really by name, but it's like that droid is very loyal and a very good droid. They like say something about it. And it's just in your heart of hearts, you're like, oh, R2.
Yeah, R2's you know? So awesome. He's such a good friend.
It warms my heart that he spent so much time with Padme Amidala. Man,
totally.
Like, that's just amazing.
Yeah, no, totally, and of course we get to the cool part, the more badass part of R2 when he kills the super battle droids in the Revenge of the Sith. I love that. Dude, I'm not gonna lie.
I had just graduated high school when Revenge of the Sith came out, so that's how old I am.
There we go.
But excuse me. But the entire beginning of Revenge of the Sith,
the buzz droids
sitting in that midnight crowd, legendary, man. And R2 was like R2D2, man, was like it was like Dave Chappelle, like up, you know, like in a packed house, just like lighting it up, like making everyone roll and all, dude, like. R2 was the best
Yes.
in that opening sequence. And he murdered those droids.
He did.
So,
Made him explode. But, like,
I don't know, man. Yeah.
What was it, the line? That was the exact line. R2 seems to be not on top of it. Was that the line? No, that was a different line. That was Padme seems to be on top of it.
Oh, yeah. She seems to be on top of things.
Yeah. What was the R2 line? When he rolls in. Was it, where's R2?
Oh,
or was it...
where's R2? Are you because that's what I was going to bring up a second ago in our awkward pause, is I was going to say, like, my favorite part is when they're like, R2 will be along in a moment, and he'll release the ray shields. Yeah. And then the door opens, like, see? And then he, like, runs in all, wow, style, and runs into the doorway.
I know. It's amazing.
Oh, man, that was comedy gold. And then the droids come in. Uh-huh. And that one droid, like, sticks his... super battle droid, like, points his arm gun at him, and he zaps his arm, and the droid just freaking kicks him over.
The noise is incredible, and that's that George Lucas slapstick. I always said, like I said earlier...
It works, man. When it works, it works.
Oh, it does. And you know what, George saw him as a comic relief character, because you got to think, there was no Jar Jar back then, and I think that was the best way to convey that... that humor was through, a droid. And the sounds and all of it, it was just so well done. Especially when he's distracting them as well, whenever he distracts General Grievous. And he's just like, all right, R2. And he goes, what? And he spins around and he's like unhinging himself and spinning his head. And like, it's just, it's so good. It's awesome.
It is amazing.
When you gotta think.
Oh, man.
And the fact that R2 was also there on Mustafar was... It's pretty wild, and
it's wild and sad at the same time. The way like he pops out of the Jedi Starfighter and Anakin tells him to stay there.
Yeah,
it's like, what is going on through R2's head? Like,
oh my God.
I just want to like have a counseling session with R2. Be like, are you okay, buddy?
Yeah,
are you doing okay? Like, what did you see? What did he tell you? It's okay. It's gonna be.
Well, yeah, and R2 was the one that was like when he first pulls back up to Padme's place in Coruscant, or C-3 was like, R2, keep it down. Or something like that. That's what 3PO says to him. You got to think R2's like,
oh yeah, hush, they'll hear.
Yeah, hush, they'll hear. You imagine if R2's like, dog,
pulling up like,
you
won't believe what this mother is.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got a sailor's mouth, which is my favorite part of the whole thing too. That was confirmed by Luke and TLJ, and I love that about him.
Yeah,
But anyway,
3PO has a line in the original trilogy, though, right, where he's like, you watch your language.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like in A New Hope, actually.
I think so, yeah. Well, to kind of get into it, you got to think 20 years pass after those moments, and and of course it's very clear that 3PO has his mind wiped, but R2 never does, which I think it's going to come back later. I don't know if it's going to come back in the saga, but hopefully there's going to be some more storytelling dealing with these characters, and that'll come back into fruition. But I think one of the best moments in A New Hope was the fact that he had the Death Star plans, and he was the Obi-Wan Kenobi, my only hope, the deliverer of that message. It's just his connection with Leia after that point is just so beautiful and so well done. I mean, I guess that can be brought up. The fact that R2 was there for Leia's birth and Leia's death is just like so profound. Honestly,
it's very profound and also very sad.
It is,
but also uplifting at the same time. It's just, it's amazing that we have this character who is able to be there for multiple generations and lifetimes.
Yeah,
of different characters and stuff, regardless of how long how much real time passes.
Of course, and the help me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That is just so important. And the fact that character that runs away and is such a good plot device. It was just so clever. Yeah. And I think with R2 being such a charismatic character from that first movie, it just established he's a presence, He's not just a little robot. And I think for every other movie that had ever come before Star Wars, robots or droids were just there, They weren't anything more than just things that made sci-fi, but with these droids like 3PO and R2, it was the heart of Star Wars. It's where Star Wars really shined,
Right. Star Wars gave them hearts.
Yes.
It gave George gave them personality and heart and just all kinds of human qualities that other robots in cinema might have had, but not to the extent and not to the feel of what R2 and 3PO had.
Definitely. And like you can always, I mean, I could ask and either of my grandmothers right now, name one thing from Star Wars, and they would just say R2-D2 because of the movie in the 70s, because of the movie that revolutionized everything and that got everyone in the theater to go see this bizarre little character and their adventures with him. But to kind of go on to Empire Strikes Back, one of the best moments is whenever, the whole movie, why can't we get the light speed? Which, let's be honest right now, that would be torn apart by these quote-unquote Twitter critics that are mad about color shading. This would be 1,000% torn apart by those kind of critics.
Well, at least definitely the people who were upset that it was a slow speed chase in TLJ, because did you not see Empire? I mean, I know he was going a little faster, but he was still going sublight, man. I mean, this he hides on the back of a freaking Star Destroyer. That's awesome, though. That's
and a worm inside of a worm.
But like you're saying, after the whole movie, which would have been torn apart, I think there was a lot of people who were upset about Empire back in the day.
Of course,
I wasn't there.
But there wasn't
I'm
a Twitter.
Not that old.
Yeah,
but
but anyway,
the moment. Yeah, what that R2 moment though, fantastic.
When he kicks in the light speed and 3PO's like, "Are you gonna help? Are you gonna put me back together?" And then all of a sudden,
C-3PO is not completely put back together.
That's amazing.
He's like, "No, I've got to do this," and the whole what you said earlier about like C-3PO like being a big part of why R2 works so well, is pretty true. I mean, R2 still works really good on his own, but you've got that duo back and forth, like the Abbott and Costello kind of thing, which I'm too young to even really know much of Abbott and Costello, guys. I just know the reference. So I'm just saying. No, but they're like the comedy duo that just really works. But the whole I'm over here in pieces and you're having delusions of grandeur. Like all of that is just pitch perfect.
And then classic slapstick is whenever he ignites it and then they go light speed and R2 just flies back into the hole that BB-8.
Well, that Han has Han's been like working the whole time, like trying to get things going, and left that grate open.
So awesome. It's great.
Which really shows you the OSHA violations that were on the Millennium Falcon,
of course,
at that time, for sure.
Yes. So. But no, it's that character. And of course, I love, R2 saves the day again, Return of the Jedi. And it's probably one of the best moments. I was actually talking about this with Troy today because we were hanging out. And it's the moment where they're on the sail barge and they're about to get, knocked into the Sarlacc pit. And it's the music is just so good. The bum.
It's
bum,
great,
bum, and it's just like cutting to all these intercuts of like R2's there and his little latch opens up, and then it's like Lando, and then it's Chewie, and then it's Han, and then it's Leia, and then it's Jabba, and then it's Luke, and then
dude,
and it launches. It's just. I was hoping for a moment like that in TLJ or even The Rise of Skywalker. And, it's okay that
I think we all were like, oh, and R2's probably still got Luke's lightsaber in his head, and he's going to shoot it out, and Rey's going to catch it, or it's going to be Luke's first ghost. And it didn't happen.
I like those points.
But I don't know where that came from. I think that's my inner, was it fan fiction guy?
Yeah.
There you go, fan fiction guy, new character. No, dude, that sequence is amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
But if you have a podcast player and ears to hear said podcast with, you need to go check out David W. Collins' show, the Soundtrack Show. His podcast is amazing, and right before Rise of Skywalker came out, he did like 3 episodes, I believe, on the music of Return of the Jedi.
I need to listen to that
episode,
seriously.
Dude, you've got to. The first episode, he talks about the sail barge assault and the music in that. How it was like the first time we had heard that music since Luke and Leia swung across the bridge, the chasm in the Death Star. And so that was like a year, like years and years, and all of a sudden, here's this triumphant music again. Your heroes are coming back, and they're going to like win this time, and it was just
Yeah.
David W. Collins reduced me to tears, but that is one
always.
of my that's probably one of my favorite R2 moments right there. If not, I don't know, like every other thing we've been talking about this entire episode, man.
No, that's definitely one of them for me too. And the cool thing is, of course, you got 30 years between Return of the Jedi and this movie, and with The Force Awakens. And I think one cool thing is the fact that R2 does go into some sort of sleep mode. It almost makes you think, oh, he is the storyteller. It's like he has been. He hasn't been
and
around,
apparently very similar to my PS4 as well. There's a rest mode for R2D2 as well as my PS4. So.
No,
low power mode. Low
amazing.
power mode is what it is. Not rest mode. It's low power
Yes.
mode, and that's exactly what it's called on my PS4. So.
Well, I love when BB-8 pulls off the blanket. And he's not gonna respond to you. He's been in low power mode ever since Master Luke went away.
So
it's just like
sad.
It's awesome, but then when he kicks back on, it's so good.
Yeah, man.
And then he goes back into his typical R2, and I think doesn't 3PO hit him in the dome? Just like
he smacks him.
Yeah,
because I guess he said something sassy. He's like, "Hey, I've been saving it up for I'm saving it up for 5 years, man. Calm down."
So awesome.
Oh yeah, it's great, man. And then him having R2 again saving the day.
Yep.
In yet another movie, R2 saves everyone's butts in every single movie.
Definitely. And you know what?
Every movie, everyone would die if R2 did not exist. If R2 got shot on the Naboo, on the Naboo, Royal Starfighter, the Queen's cruiser at the beginning in Phantom Menace. No one else lives. I mean, they wouldn't even live there. Story ends when they try to break the blockade.
Yes.
Through the blockade. And just to think that they were not going to be able to find Luke without that map. The map that led to Luke Skywalker, which is... Luke didn't actually leave a map. Okay, I'm gonna get salty again if I'm not.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Here we go.
We've brought up the detractors a couple of times, but it wasn't an actual map to Luke. It was a map to the first Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
But just so cool because such a great pull for Abrams that he realized that R2D2 would have had all of this information from the Empire. That when he plugs in
Genius.
in A New Hope. He gets all of that info,
Rips it.
And he's because JJ. He's a big, seems like straight OT stan, original trilogy stan, and strictly original trilogy stan. I feel like, but you got to think all the stuff before that R2 has in those memory banks, man, and stuff.
So much.
It's so much, and just I love that. Oh, dude, we'll get that, I guess, to Rise of Skywalker and stuff too. But it's fun, R2 or C-3PO, of course 3PO, and everyone's like, oh, he said his backup data was not that good, but C-3PO would say that. Come on, that's C-3PO sassy prissiness to a T.
Yes.
But anyway, what do you think about him in that movie there?
Oh, The Force Awakens or the TLJ? The TLJ.
Whatever you want to talk about, man. They're basically the same. They're one and the same.
Well, TLJ in regards to the whole convincing Luke, that is a pivotal moment. That is an important moment for him to be hey,
it's one of the best moments.
Watch your mouth.
One of the best moments in there.
Well, the genius part of that sequence too, and it makes me cry almost every time, was the fact that they even use an alternative take of the Leia, thing. They had it from a different angle. They might have used the same audio, but it was a different angle of Carrie Fisher's face that no one had ever seen before. That is some archival stuff, and the fact that they used it was just, help me over.
Which has been, may I say, the best part of the Disney era is that they are going back and using all this sweet archival footage of pilots like Red Leader and Gold Leader in Rogue One to this. Oh man, and so Ryan Johnson, man, all the love. We are recording this Sunday night. We're not watching the Oscars, so we don't know what Ryan has won. But I'm just going to go ahead and give him a hefty congratulations on winning the Bombadcast's affection for Knives Out and The Last Jedi and all that. But I think The Last Jedi is still my favorite of the sequel trilogy films, man.
Yeah.
It's my absolute favorite of all of them, and
I think it's the best
that
one.
scene between Luke and R2 is pure. That is what Star Wars is all about. Like, that proves right there that man is a Star Wars fan and gets Star Wars. And I'm gonna say it. I think he almost gets Star Wars as much, if not more, than JJ.
Oh, probably
does.
more.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry. JJ is. I love what JJ's done, and JJ like brought it back and he finished it, and I love.
He gets the cultural impact of Star Wars, but I think Ryan
gets the cultural
heart.
impact. He gets the big over. Dude, Ryan is the hardcore sweaty fanboy, man. He's wearing Porg cufflinks. I saw on Twitter before I recorded this too. I know it's from his movie, but he doesn't have to wear Star Wars crap.
No,
man.
he doesn't.
He loves this stuff, man.
Yes.
And that scene alone with R2 and Luke proves it. And
It's
the
beautiful.
dice.
Yep.
The Han Solo's dice, which were supposed to be in The Force Awakens too. I still wish that shot was in there.
Well, what was
Han
the
putting
exact
them there, 'cause
line? Hold on,
it
that
was
triggered
like-
him. It was old
I don't
friend,
know.
I wish I could make you understand, or something like that. And he's like wobbling,
but
getting all mad.
I wish I could make you understand, but I'm not coming back. And then he
It's just
immediately starts playing.
It's almost
Years ago,
funny.
you served my father in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, but it's almost funny the way they do it. It's almost comic relief again because he looks at him and then just and projects the Leia thing. It's almost funny.
It's
got a beat
funny.
to it. It's got a little bit of a beat, a little bit of a humor to it because it's just so like
That's what
It's like okay,
I
watch.
love it. I love it. Yeah.
It's
you
awesome.
think you know? Well,
Yeah.
I can pull. I got some tricks up my sleeve
because
and
he's
stuff.
the Obi-Wan now.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well,
I love
and
JJ.
I love Mark's line to him there. He's like, "That was a cheap move," because that was the best. And I don't know. I love how Ryan mixed the humor in with the drama of all that because that's life, man.
That is life.
Life is like it's a mixture of things, man. Like you
Totally.
can feel multiple things at once. And anyway, I'll get off my Last Jedi soapbox.
No.
I'm wearing my Last Jedi sweatshirt as we speak too. So, it's very cold in my basement.
Well, no, just to kind of get back into the importance of this character and everything after that's so awesome. And we do get to the, of course, inevitable end of this saga, which is the Rise of Skywalker. And his biggest moment in that movie is when Leia dies. And doesn't even make, does he make a sad beep? He does something. I think he shakes. I think all he does is shakes. He
no, it's the like it's like a sad.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's a sad morning woo. Like it's the one he does. It's the classic R2 sad noise is what it is. It's been in more movies, but it's just the fact that it is Leia, and I mean, chronologically in the story, you guys know we love our chronological story here at the Bombadcast. Of course, he was there for Leia's birth.
Yes.
But if you are thinking real life, real time, in our world, in a galaxy not so far away and not really a long time ago, it was just a little while ago. R2-D2 and Princess Leia, that character, Carrie Fisher, like they were tied together. Like they were like the first time I think you see Princess Leia is with R2-D2. And the power of him being there with that and just the whole that we lost Carrie again. Where this is, I think, the second episode where we've mentioned the loss of Carrie, but I mean it echoes throughout this sequel era, and it shaped what we got. And the importance of having R2 there at her feet. I'm honestly, I'm making myself emotional right now, and I didn't mean to, because this just kind of hit me, man.
Dude, I've watched my grandparents pass away.
That's even more.
And I understand that. Like, imagine, it's not an easy moment, but it's also kind of a beautiful moment too, because if you think about it, they had someone bring them into this world only to have someone else lead them out of it. And the fact that R2 was the one that was watching over her, during her birth, it might have been indirectly, but for him to truly be there at her end and to probably be the one to go tell whoever was in charge, like, oh no, we gotta do something. It's just like,
right.
I think, yeah, like you said, it's synonymous with not just Leia, but it's Carrie, and it's the importance of just Artoo being in her story, being a part of Carrie Fisher's story,
right,
and being a part of Leia's story. It's profound, man.
Whatever you thought of Rise of Skywalker, you have to admit that was just a beautiful decision, and just very
the silhouette and the blanket.
100% intentional. Yeah, that they were like, no, R2 is going to be there, and I would love to hear. I can't wait to get more bonus. I know
too.
JJ doesn't really go big on the bonus features.
He does good commentary.
Man, I hope that there's like good commentary right there where I want to hear all about like why. I feel like that's the reason why they chose R2 is because like that character and Leia. But something else that's a little melancholy that's striking me, Scotty, about the character of R2 throughout these things. We were talking earlier about how characters like R2 and C-3PO and even Chewie, even though Chewie's a living being, he's got a long lifespan. But these characters who outlive, who make friends and live through generations of a family, and they make friends. You can tell R2 was good friends with Anakin Skywalker.
Oh yeah,
he was good friends. Like he loved like Luke, he loved Leia. He loves these people. These are his friends, and just to the strength and you got to think of the weight. Even though it's a droid, R2, the reason he is the way he is because he hasn't been wiped and he has all this knowledge. He's basically R2-D2 is essentially sentient.
Yes.
And just to think that the weight that little we lovingly and jokingly call trash can like has to carry on and like to see like these people that he cares about pass on, and I don't know, just there's something very profound and very I don't know, man, like you
he's
think
all
the
in for the
weight
fight too.
Yeah,
he's all
you got to
in
think
for
of the
fight.
weight that leaves on him. Like there's a heart in that little tin can, man, and my heart breaks for him like every time something
definitely
like that happens.
It makes me sad. It's you got to think that this character has been through so much. I mean, he's watched his, like you said, Luke go away, and even like he's seen Luke's lowest moment when he saw the Jedi Temple getting burnt down. The thing he wanted to build up, and he created a new Kylo Ren, and R2 was there. That's who Luke goes to in that moment. Luke's lowest moment, he puts his hand on R2's head, and it's like, oh my God, like we've both been defeated. Like I've been defeated, and I still have you to rely on. It's like R2 is like the best friend that people don't realize they have until trauma happens, and like
Luke calls him old friend, in TLJ
awesome.
Whenever he's there, old friend. I wish I could. It's I want to
beautiful.
like go watch all of these.
I know.
Again.
I know,
right
dude.
now.
I really want. I want to put the Phantom Menace on so bad, but no, you brought up a really good moment from Clone Wars that I think you should really share because you got to watch a episode yesterday or today or when was it?
Yeah, well, I think it was might have been today while I was doing dishes. I've been watching Clone Wars and doing dishes and chores and stuff, guys. I've seen it so many times. I do like a canon rewatch of that like every year. Or a chronological rewatch. But by the way, shout out to I've made a Clone Wars chronological rewatch infographic.
It's good.
You can go check it out. It's good. I had to like make a couple corrections because I like missed something at the very end. But anyway, I'm gonna stop now because people are too picky. But anyway, dude, I watched the episode of was it where it's the arc at the end of season 2 where Boba Fett is trying to get revenge on Mace.
Yeah,
and for killing Jango, and it's the second episode. It's called R2 Come Home or something like that, and basically Mace and Anakin get trapped on this Star Destroyer, and they have to rely on R2-D2 to go and get help. And R2 basically like the bounty hunters are trying to like go in there and like make sure they're dead, and R2 is like basically play. It's like Home Alone,
Yeah.
but with R2D2 and these instead of the Wet Bandits. I mean, they're basically it's Ara Singh and all these weird guys in Boba Fett. But like Mace at the beginning,
He's
Scotty?
apprehensive. Like he's like, I don't trust.
Well,
like,
at the beginning, and I
posted.
posted today, I think through the Bombadcast feed, a picture of Mace Windu and a picture of Squidward. And I said, same energy. Because Mace Windu is that because he goes, there's some line that he says to Anakin at the beginning of the episode when they first land. And he's like, you treat that droid, or you give that droid too much affection or something. Or basically, he basically says something very like
Jedi and Mace.
Joyless and monotone and grumpy. Like it really is like Mace, dude. You like smoke a joint sometime, dude. Like come on,
chill
man.
out,
Like
man.
get out of your
Get
out of your
Qui-Gon
freaking head,
reefer.
man. Like. Loosen your belt a couple notches so the blood can flow back to your bald head.
He
man.
needed
Come
that
on.
as a character. Let's be honest.
He needed to be taken down a peg with the droids because by the end of that he goes, I see why your master trusts you so much. Which still has a little bit of that shade, like you're still a droid.
Yep.
But that's one of the things too I love about like Anakin's relationship with R2 in the Clone Wars series. Is how it's like he's calling him buddy and all this stuff, and everyone else is just like, "Why the heck are you talking to that droid like that?"
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like, why are you talking to your smartphone like it's your best friend?
Well, I think don't the clones make fun of Anakin? I believe it in one episode as well for that reason too.
I think so. Yeah, and it's like, but Anakin and even Ahsoka is like picks that up from Anakin too, and it's just I love that the Skywalkers are the ones that are like even Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's like people are like, why doesn't he remember R2D2? It's like, well, he could, but it's also like he's telling him like, you really should like probably wipe his memory, or like there's the one where like R2 gets captured in the Clone Wars, and like he's like, well, you don't wipe his memory after every mission, and he's like, no, he's my buddy. You
wouldn't want to ruin his personality.
He makes good jokes, okay, Obi-Wan? Like, back off, dude. Like, I love his personality. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
No, the Clone Wars really deepened that character.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, one thing I want to get into real quick, just briefly, they always say he's the storyteller of Star Wars. He's the one that's writing everything down, and I think that is 100% confirmed with one little reading in particular. It is the certain point of view story about Jot the Jawa and how he finds Artoo and he kind of steals his memory banks for a second, and he goes and watches it in his own little room on the Sandcrawler, and he's like blown away by what he sees because he sees everything. He sees the Death Star.
He watches the prequels.
Yes, he pretty much just watches the highlights of the prequels. He sees Anakin and Padme get married. He sees, the droid destroying the B-2 battle droids. He sees what was it, one of the other ones? He saw the Starfighter sequence from the Phantom Menace. I'm pretty sure he might have saw the pod race too. It's just like, I don't know. That's such a good way to solidify that R2 is like so pivotal. And the fact that Jot the Jawa, who usually wipes the memory after seeing that, he knew in his heart of hearts, he was like, nope, I got to put this thing back in him. He's got to get off this Sandcrawler. He has a mission.
This is going to make a killer movie someday. Is what he
it is.
Probably.
Oh, it is. It really will. And like even if it's an animated short story. But yeah, no, that's honestly, I'm going to actually include that in my favorite moments of Star Wars. That's one of those ones that had me crying listening to the audiobook. I'm like driving and I'm like,
dude, it was amazing.
I was like, oh my God. Like in the music, of course, in that audiobook in particular is so good. It was really one of those that I'll never forget where I was driving from. I had just finished doing some, education hours for my university because they required us to do so much observation hours and teaching hours, and of course this is all like unpaid. And I'm driving from a parish, or I guess a quote unquote county from that was like an hour away, So I had a while, and I got to that one, and I listened to the whole thing, and I'm just crying because it's just so good. It's just it really was just so good.
Yeah,
it's just like
that was an amazing.
You relive
story.
it.
Yeah.
But
and just what a beautiful it proves that the stories in the prequels are legit. They
Yes.
stand up and they hold the story of the prequels like has lost no luster
at all.
And,
You're right. Beautiful way to put it.
I mean, no matter what the you think of the dialogue or the acting or the special effects that may look, but no matter what, like the story stands up 100%.
Yes.
And the storyteller was there the whole time. No, dude, that is a beautiful. I love a certain point of view. I was really hoping I'm still holding out hope that we get one.
I bet we
this year for Empire.
I think we'll get an announcement. I really do.
I don't think it's Project Luminous anymore. That's what we were all kind of thinking.
I thought that's what it was too.
Because it was like all these like authors, like 50 authors were like, "Oh, I'm working on this Project Luminous thing."
Yes.
We were all like, "Ooh, 2020."
And the
Empire's
name of it
40th.
too, Luminous being glory. I thought that. I was convinced of that.
But I even want it for like the prequels, dude. Like, give me a certain point of view for every Star Wars film ever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, less than 12 days, right, when this episode drops, we'll be getting a panel on dealing with it. So super exciting. But no, with that being said, let's kind of go through our top 3 moments of just Artoo. I will say my 3 pretty quickly, just because there's no really point on dwelling too much on it, only because we've already gone so much further into this than I expected. I'm very thankful for that. But Battle of Naboo with Anakin, I think as a kid when I saw that sequence,
dude,
with Anakin being a little boy and I was like 5, it was just so like him and R2 are like, oh my God, we're both in this. It's just so funny. They're both shocked, it's awesome.
That whole sequence is 100% Star Wars. And I know I really was talking a big game in the Bombad buildup about the whole hallway sequence with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon at the beginning.
Yeah.
But my a moment that has stood out. I just realized that last year. A moment that stood out to me that I love and get chills every time. Every time I watch Phantom Menace is when Anakin and R2 accidentally blow up the main reactor and then fly out of the thing. That whole the music. See, you got the Force theme. The ba 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 da da da. It's the certain mix of that with some of the Phantom Menace-y kind of
sound effects
in the background.
Yes.
And the dialogue of the pilots is amazing and 100% Star Wars and pure hope and light and goodness, and I love it. It's the what's that? It's blowing up from the inside. We didn't hit it. And look, one of ours out of the main hold. And as the music, the Force theme swells, Anakin comes out going woohoo with R2. Oh my gosh! I want to. Let's go watch the Phantom Menace. Let's go watch it right now. I love it. Let's do it.
It's getting me pumped.
It gets, dude. That part is amazing.
It is amazing.
Quintessential, man. It's so good.
Oh,
but
dude.
Great pull, Scotty.
You're getting me excited. No, that moment's incredible. I love.
I gotta go to bed after this, but I really want to go watch Star Wars.
I know, me too. Shame on us. No, Return of the Jedi. The lightsaber launch is great. We already talked a lot about that, but the one that we did not mention, which I always bring this up. We have to have an episode on this. God bless Mark Hamill. Literally acting with a puppet and a robot trash can for an entire movie. The R2 on Dagobah is just so good. And I always joke about it. Me and my friend Landon used to joke about the R2 with Luke every other second in that scene. Yeah. R2 just every time. But no, I mean R2 in that moment with the flashlight and Yoda and the stick, it's just it's so good. It's so great. And R2 on Dagobah, outside in the rain, trying to look into the window is hilarious.
Oh,
it's just,
man. He's on his tiptoes.
He's
it's so sad.
It is.
It's so sad. It's
but
let him in.
I know. I felt so
bad. Give him a little awning or something to put over him, man. Come on. That's amazing, too. Every single square inch of his stuff in Empire is great. I love R2 and especially on Dagobah.
But when he's getting lifted by Luke, and then just drops. Wow! Boom! Hits the ground. Yeah, it's just great slapstick, man. But Jerry, you have any 3 moments that kind of identify and bring out whenever you think of R2?
I'm gonna try to think of. I don't know if I have exactly 3. We've really talked about a lot of them. Like I said, I love that moment in, like you were saying, with Phantom Menace, with him, with art, but I guess specifically that moment I was just talking about and getting us up, we were all getting jazzed up about, dude.
Yeah.
I love that. I really love all the moments that really make R2 feel human and feel like that show his loyalty.
Yeah.
And I love, and I wanted to bring it up earlier. This isn't like, I don't know, it just kind of came to me while we were talking about this, but I it's a subtle thing, but I love at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back when they can't find Luke and Han goes out after him.
Oh, yeah.
And R2 is just outside of the door.
Yeah.
With his little, like he's got his sensors going. Like he's just trying his hardest
to find his buddy.
locate him.
Yeah.
And like just
wow.
the beauty that is in that. I love those subtle moments.
Me too.
That are just like, that really show the heart of the character.
How much he cares.
Like, that's where you see who a person, that's when you see who a person or a character really is in those subtle moments. Those just like, they're by themselves and he's like out there. He's like, I'm going to stay out here till I freeze.
Yes.
I will freeze into a block of solid ice before
It's awesome.
I go in and leave Master Luke or my buddy Luke out in the cold.
Yeah.
And that's just, man, I don't know. It must just be the time of night, but I'm getting emotional again just thinking about R2-D2 sitting outside of Hoth Echo Castle. You know, like, I mean, come on, dude. And call back to our last episode. Man.
Totally. No, that's a great moment. I'm very happy you brought that up because I haven't really thought about that one. And the fact that R2 does kind of, R2 and Chewie both kind of let out a wail whenever that door's closing. And Chewie is kind of in the same category as R2. One of those ones you don't really appreciate till you really take a step back and think about how important they are to the overarching story. And that moment is really beautiful. Jerry, thank you for bringing that up. That's one that's a sleeper one. I'm not gonna lie. That one's often forgotten about.
Dude, no, I mean, again, it just kind of came to me as we're discussing tonight. It's, again, not a moment that stands out in particular, but I was just thinking, you're sitting here pondering the character of R2-D2, and it came immediately to mind.
Yeah.
But then, let's see, if I had to pick, man, one last one. Dude, I don't even know. I just love, I love... You mentioned a lot of really good ones, but I think I'm going to mention from the sequel trilogy. I love whenever R2-D2 like interacts with Rey or Finn or Poe in the sequel trilogy. I love seeing R2-D2 interact with the new with the new generation.
It's
because
awesome.
Those are his friends too, and even C-3PO has the line in the movie, and I know a lot of people kind of made light of it whenever that came out, like, oh, it should be Luke and Han and Leia, and it's, but it's still very true that these droids are loyal and they love, like, I'm taking one last look at my friends, and you've got R2-D2. I love the moment in TLJ when the Battle of Crate. When they're looking for people and R2, there's R2 helping Rey, and it's Rey and Chewie piloting the Falcon, and there's R2 just right behind him, like looking for people with his, he's got his little sensor probe out, like, interfacing with the Falcon's computer.
So cool.
And he's like, I know, just keep scanning for life forms. I love those little moments.
Me too.
I love the little moments.
Well, like
it's so
in
good.
The Rise of Skywalker, whenever Finn pats R2 in the head, and he hooks him up to that thing, the very beginning of The Rise of Skywalker, and he's like, you got the message from the spy? Yep,
Is that what he said? Are you ready, R2? Or something? And the way he jumps, I love... okay. Ooh, I want to go see Rise of Skywalker again. The way he jumps over that, like, rolling, like, like, barrel or whatever, like it's so Star Wars, man.
Star Wars.
It's like you're on like an old wooden ship, but like space.
Yes, that's badass. Actually, that's a good way to put it. It is kind of like an old like an old pirate ship. That's awesome,
dude. It's amazing. But no, like R2 is. We love R2-D2 guys.
We do.
Like, there's too many moments. There's so many. There's so many.
Who else loves R2-D2? Our listeners,
Who's that?
Jerry. Our listeners.
Oh,
and Jerry, if you don't mind,
that was supposed to be like that air horn.
Do the honors of getting the Jakku jargon pulled up for this week. I'll let you read them, bud.
All right. Well, guys, again, we put out a call to you. We do a mailbag segment now on a few episodes called Jakku Jargon. And we just put out a question for you guys, and we kind of listen and see what you have, what your input is, what you have to say to us. And let's just, I don't know, like, let's listen to that beautiful, beautiful music from Mr. Scott J. Rowe and Jonald Williams. Okay, Jakku Jargon for this week. So we just released this week's episode, but we're already working on the next. Want to get a comment on the show? What does R2-D2 mean to you? Why is he so important? What are your favorite R2 moments? And we only had one on the Bombad fam, a Bombadcast official group. And it was my buddy of mine from down south, actually, Blake Hall. And he says, This scene hits me every Monday. And he put the gif of R2 falling down in the desert after he gets shot by the Jawas.
Yes.
And that's me too. Blake, that's me usually when I get home on Monday. And Friday too. But
that's a good one. I have
that's great.
I have
Who
one
you got, Scotty?
pulled up from Benjamin L. Ackers, a really avid follower and listener of our pod. He posted under our Twitter thread. He said he's the unsung hero of the saga. If he didn't bypass the main power drive and bring the shields back online, TPM, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Padme, Rick Oli, and most importantly Jar Jar all get blown up, and the events of the saga go quite a different way. Hashtag Jakku Jargon, hashtag Stay Bombad. Ben, that's an amazing point. And I think Jerry did bring that up earlier, how incredibly important that moment was, for him to pull through.
Dude, I'm surprised we didn't get Mark Ellis on this episode because he freaking this is his soapbox. He says R2-D2 saves everyone's butts in every single movie, and the theory holds up. The theorem holds up. I mean, the formula never has changed. Like, I can't think of a movie where he's been in that he hasn't saved everyone's butts.
Yeah, or done at least
he got
one
Luke Skywalker
thing.
Back in the game in TLJ. He had the map in Force Awakens. He went to Exegol with Poe. There's everything. And Ben, thank you so much, of course, for you know how to please us here at the Bombadcast because
one of the
you
best.
did say Jar Jar. You included Jar Jar in your tweet.
Most
there, so thank you for
importantly.
that. But we also have Devor Mondum, PhD, at D Mondum, and again another. Big supporter of the Bombadcast.
Good friend.
He said a big reason I love R2 is that of all of the characters, he's the one you could most imagine one day existing in our own world.
Wow.
He's both a problem solver and a mischief maker. He's loyal and he makes his own rules. My favorite moment by far is him playing the Leia hologram in TLJ, and then he included the gif of Luke in TLJ saying to him after that was a cheat move. Great pull, Devor. And dude, again, we just talked about that, but oh man, I such a great part. I love that. And just I don't know, what do you think about Devor's comments there, Scotty?
Well, and you can always reflect on just how relatable he is as a character, and he mentions he's both a problem solver and a mischief maker. That's like some of my favorite people I've ever met are the ones that will help me get through certain situations, but also the ones that get me in trouble, and I love that.
Well, the ones that know how to have a good time.
Yeah,
right?
I like any
Don't
of
take themselves too seriously.
And any of my friends that like to kind of rock the boat a little bit. I love it. I think that's why we like R2 is because you can see a lot of your personal preferences and people in this one character too. But that's a good point, Devor. I really appreciate you reaching out to us and wanting to comment as well. But no, with that being said, that was
Well,
the
hold
chocolate.
on. We have one more.
we
Sorry,
do?
I made
I'm
two.
sorry.
Yeah, we have one more. No, you're fine. You're fine. I had posted a couple during the week to try to get us some.
Okay.
Little responses, and we have one more from another buddy of mine from down south. You guys must be gluttons for punishment because you're listening to me talk, or you just miss me, I guess. But my good friend Seth Parnell at Seth_Parnell, another good friend of the pod. He says, to me, R2-D2 is the beginning of Star Wars and the linchpin to A New Hope. Without him carrying Leia's message and the Death Star plans and leading Luke to Obi-Wan, Luke would still be on Tatooine picking up those power converters. The Empire wins, and this is a much shorter story.
Wow. That's awesome.
Man. It's Seth, man, good thoughts. All you guys, good thoughts. R2... And there's so much more, again, like we've been saying, that can be said. But just thank you so much, guys, for sending in your and also for using the hashtag. Again, we're going to be doing some more of these, so just look for the graphic of me and Scotty and Jar Jar with sunglasses on in front of the downed Star Destroyer on Jakku, and hey, go in there and see what the question is and stuff.
Totally.
I think I actually included.
R2.
We got some R2-D2 with a sun monocle.
That was good
this week. So yeah, that was. I can't tell you how long it took me to make that sun monocle, but it was an embarrassing amount of time.
But you did it. But you did it. No, and one thing I want to do to make this episode kind of funny in this moment, but Jerry, give me your best R2. Give me your best R2 noise. Just give me like 2 or 3 of them.
Okay. Wow! That was probably the biggest waves right there I think I've ever done on the Bombadcast, and also my cat is sneaking up on me on the washing machine over here next to me. So
very concerned.
I think I might have just scared the crap out of him. So
I'll do mine real quick. These are mine.
Right. Scotty, let's see what you got, man. Let's see what you got. Best R2-D2 impression.
Yours were one of them. I'm gonna kind of end up doing my own version of it, but I like the. That one.
I'm not a great whistler. So
no, see, I can barely whistle, but that's one of the ones I like. Another one was the of course the that one.
Oh, that was good.
Thank you.
That was almost better
yours
than mine,
is good too.
man. I like that.
And then, of course, I'm trying to think of just one or more that I really enjoy. I don't know. I like the one where he yells at 3PO all the way across the sand dunes.
Oh, the whoop.
Yeah, that one. That one's a good one.
Dude,
I like those.
There's one I just thought about that I forgot about. When in Return of the Jedi, where he accidentally runs into the Gamorrean guard and backs up, he goes, wow!
Yeah, it's so good.
It's like he goes back as like he cursed because he's like,
shit.
whoa! Holy,
No,
what is going on with this dude?
Well, I think the other one is where he's like wobbles, because Bib Fortuna's touching him, and Nakadumana. He's like, what is the noise?
Your best. I like your Bib Fortuna there. I think you should keep going with that. But
Inacho
Dewanga.
No, it's when he goes.
It's a sensual Bib Fortuna.
It is. No, whenever he wobbles, he's like. No, I can't even do it in my head. I have to look it up after this now. It's gonna drive me crazy.
Man, now I just can't stop thinking that how Bib Fortuna just absolutely oozes sexual tension.
Oh God!
Him and Jabba. You guys are all welcome for that. Look it up, sir. Look it up. No, man.
Do some more.
I'm trying to think of some good ones. Like there's so many. Like he. Where he gets anytime he gets blasted by the Jawas.
Yeah.
Like
it's so good.
It's there's so many and gosh, I don't know. Wait, though, I don't know if you guys out there would want to put a video or would be brave enough to put a video on Twitter or on our Bombad fam group of yourself doing an R2D2 impression. I don't
That
know,
would
if
be
you feel like it, you should do it,
amazing.
man. And
God, that would be great.
hashtag stay bombad, okay? If you do it, so that would be great. But I don't know, dude. There's so many great sound effects that I don't know, is it Ben Burt like does the voice like who?
I'm pretty sure it was Ben
It's-
Burt. Well, the
Ben
one
Burt
thing-
at first, but like it's
One-
oh man.
Well, I want to bring up real quick before we kind of close this segment out, but like, you know, it's so cool the fact that like every new movie, and of course it's such a Star Wars thing. If there is a new noise, we're like, that was a new beep, that was a new boop, that was a new, you know.
We did that with freaking Chewbacca in this
Chewbacca.
one, man. Freaking Chewbacca's noise is the best. And,
I know. It's so good.
It's great. Scotty, we should just do an entire episode sometime that is just me and you doing like
Noises?
impressions of Star
Oh.
Wars things, and then immediately after like congratulating the other person, like talking like, that was so good, man. That was so good.
Yeah.
That should just be the entire episode.
We could
just
do
like
it.
me and you going back and forth telling each other like, man, that was a good Gamorrean guard. Good for you, man. Good on ya. Yeah, high five, dude.
It's so motivational. Wait, I
Yeah.
think it's coming up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Hold on.
it's
This is great radio.
It's that one. It's that
Was
one.
it-
He's like, and he's like so nervous.
Right when he's going in, yeah.
It's
and then, like,
musical. It's musical almost, you know. It's great.
woo! Bitter.
Yeah,
You're like, whoa, holy,
that's a pig. No,
yeah. Ah, Pigman.
that should be a shirt.
They say.
Oh, whoa,
Pigman.
No, with that being said, to kind of get a serious note right when we end, do you think R2D2's story is over?
Not by a long shot, dude.
I know, not just
there's-
I don't just mean comics and book wise. I mean, not
Yeah.
to sound like a jerk, but I mean we're super fans. We
In the
love that
films.
stuff. But do you think his cinematic run is over?
I think for now, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to give it a rest for a little while. I don't think we're going to see R2 and 3PO unless they pop up in the Mandalorian or
Maybe.
The Obi-Wan show,
Yeah.
or if Cassian ever comes out. If they show, I didn't mean that as salty
No,
as
no,
that sounded.
but it-
I
mean,
really want the Cassian show I want
Yeah.
all the Star Wars shows to come out. But unless they show up in there or like whatever animated thing that comes out. Well, again,
Yeah.
that's not. Again, that's not theatrical films.
Yeah.
It's close, but I think theatrically we're done until we get more Rayfin and Poe content.
Well,
honestly.
one thing I will say is originally in the Force Awakens like idea and like build, you know, like the concept art, there was one really cool concept art of quote unquote Kira, you know, as we now know as Rey,
Right.
finding R2's head in a stack and like observing it, you know, and
Right.
what a cooler way to like, you know, be introduced to the character again and to find like his remains and then rebuild him and making him maybe a little bit more different, a little more quirky. You
Yeah.
know, I think it'd be really cool. And the same with the lightsabers, you know, finding the lightsaber, you know, so many years later. But I don't think his story's over. I really don't. I think
man.
thankfully we have Disney, and thankfully they hire great writers and great artists to do this stuff. And thankfully in 25 years from now, whenever, you know, Eleanor's grown up and I have my little one and they're all grown up and we're all grown up and we're in our 50s and 60s, we will hopefully go back to the theater, honestly, and get to revisit, you know, maybe an R2D2 that's really old and different, you know.
An R2D2 with a long gray beard and like a monocle.
Yes.
Monocle
just-
glasses.
That's
like
it.
bifocals.
That's all he
or
needs.
Monofocals. I don't
Yes.
know. It's
Yes.
yeah. I guess it would
No.
still be a bifocal, just one lens and stuff.
No, and no. Well, one thing I will say is I don't think a story's over, and thankfully we've got so many different forms of content to hold us over, and you never know, they might even in some weird capacity do some sort of R2 short film or something. And I don't know. I think I love that character, and I think this is probably one of my favorite episodes we've done in a long time, only because I did not realize I needed to talk about R2D2 today, and hopefully the listeners can say the same. I don't know if you needed to listen to this, but hopefully you did, and you'll go home and have a deeper appreciation for your little R2D2 Kenner toy, or your R2D2 Lego you have, or your R2D2 like I have a little like candy dispenser R2D2 that I have in my classroom. Like hopefully you go home and kind of just admire that figure that you own, you know, because it's such a pivotal part of the saga and Star Wars' blood. But anyway,
I need to go out now. I need to go out and get the. I never got the first run of Black Series. They had R2D2, and I never got the R2D2, and I am really kicking myself in the pants right now. I got to admit, Scotty, I honestly didn't know I needed to talk about R2 as much as I did tonight, and I almost made myself cry like 4 times, guys.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But. No, dude, when we first sat down, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. Like, I love R2. I want to talk about him. But it flows out because the love for this character is amazing.
You forget. He's a sleeper
it's overwhelming.
Character.
He's just the glue of Star Wars.
Yes.
And you don't realize he's there, but without him, it falls apart, like Seth was saying earlier. He's integral, not just to A New Hope, but to the entire story.
Uh-huh. Completely 1,000,000% agree with you, man. I guess that's the beauty of it. And thank you everyone for joining us for this little episode today. Before we start plugging our stuff, I'm hopefully everyone digs it. Everyone who gets a chance to listen to it will enjoy this one. But Jerry, we've got a guest coming up next week, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I'm pumped, man. Who is it?
Dude, me too. It's our first guest of 2020.
Yep.
And it is none other than my captain, Shannon Morin of Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge. Those of you who watch Shannon's channel, listen to her podcast, you know that sometimes I'll come in there and do some canon facts as her navigator. And I love that job. I love Shannon. Shannon was like one of the people that me and Scotty met at Celebration. And
she sat in front of us.
Shannon met, and we really hit it off, and we were both making YouTube content at the time for just starting out. Yeah. And we were both like, we should collaborate sometime. And this is kind of what came of it. And so here we are. It's been a long time coming. Shannon Morin coming on the podcast next Friday. So get ready, guys.
Pumped.
Get ready. We're so excited.
It's going to be awesome. You'll get more details on the topic soon. But it's all in the works right now, and we cannot wait for y'all to be able to enjoy it with us, because it's gonna be a whole little trip around the universe and galaxy,
around the galaxy's edge, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. But no. With that being said, y'all, I'm Scotty Jarrow. You can find me at the Scott Jarrow on Twitter. You can also get in contact with us anytime on bombadcast@gmail.com. If you want to make a suggestion, if you want to be a part of the show, you just let us know. We love having people on. We love hearing your input. But anyway, that's about it for me. Jerry, what's going on with you, brother?
Guys, if you love what we do here, go and follow us on all social media. Well, at least we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Mm-hmm. And just type in Bombadcast and you will find us. You can go join our Facebook group. We're over there hanging out with the lovely conspiracy theorists and other people who live on Twitter. Facebook. Facebook. Well, yeah, it's kind of like I can't tell the difference between Twitter and Facebook anymore. It's like there's anyway, let's not get into that. But yeah, you can go hang out on our Bombad fam, a Bombadcast official group with some lovely people over there. Except Rick Villanueva. What a jerk, man. I'm just kidding, Rick. I love him.
Does he even lift in?
Boy, do you even lift in? Oh, wait, I need to learn Gunganese. But you can follow me, Jerry the Canon Junkie, on Twitter at the Canon Junkie.
Follow him.
You can follow us at Bombadcast. And go check out our merch store at TeePublic. We got a lot of fun designs. Go get a shirt for your loved one. And those of you in the future, thank you for coming to our live stream last night.
Oh, it was awesome.
We're here on Sunday, just really hoping that some people show up. So
we had some great giveaways.
Man, we had some great giveaways. I can't believe that
They won.
my
Me too.
washing machine exploded, but it ended up really working for us.
Yep.
It's amazing. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming in here and hanging out with us. And as always, we love you. Scotty, you got any closing remarks, sir?
No, but can I do it? Can I do the...
Ooh, you want to? You want to do it at the same time?
Dude.
Have we ever tried that?
We can definitely try it right now. You ready?
Let's try it. Until next time, stay bombad.
All Bombad.
Whoa, Pigman!